welcome back to C1 Novel and Vocab Week 14, and this is for our novel. Today we'll be going over difficult phrases from our novel, A Crooked Kind of Perfect, and this is for cultural fluency. By becoming familiarized with different slang and colloquialisms, students will be able to relate to the novel and incorporate, which means to use, these phrases to convey their ideas more precisely. So not only are you just learning about the different phrases from our book, but you can learn from it and then use it. Today, we'll be going over the second section, which is pages 43 to 83 of A Crooked Kind of Perfect. So please, if you don't already, go grab your book, pause the video, and we'll continue. First, let's all turn to page 46. And I'm going to start reading from the very top so that's easy for you to follow along. First, 6 o'clock. I get in the car. Shh, says Mom. Horowitz. She is listening to WCLS, the classical station. They're playing a recording of Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. I close my eyes and try to forget about the brat clogs and grand pianos. When we pull into our driveway, I open my eyes. So first, I wanted to go over two different things. What does it mean to pull into? Pull into is an idiom typically meaning to drive a vehicle into a particular place, like a specific area, like pulling into our driveway. It can also be used more broadly to mean arriving at a destination. So example, we can say, we pulled into the gas station to put some gas into our car. Origin, the phrase likely comes from an action of pulling a vehicle off the road or highway into a specific area or driveway. So here what we're doing, you can say like, oh, we got to the driveway, or she drove into the driveway. But here we're saying pull into because we're pretending that there's an action of pulling into the driveway, meaning we just reached our destination and location. And another thing I wanted to point out here is, what is a driveway? I don't know. Not many houses in Korea have driveways because a lot of us live in apartments. But in America, when you have a single home like this, there's a road here. This is called our driveway. And this would be maybe like the main road. So you're pulling into the driveway. So it's part of your house. This is the cartoon version. And this is a real type of version here. Driveways can be long, driveways can be short. Doesn't matter. So pull into. Another way you can say is like, we pulled into the parking lot of the department store and we're ready to shop. Good. Now let's go to the next one, which is page 48. I'm also just gonna start from where it says scooch. It says, scooch, she says. I move off the bench so she can sit and play the song for me. That's all we need to read there. What does the word scooch here mean? Did anyone use their context clues to maybe find out what it meant? Scooch is just a way of saying, hey, move over. This is an informal term mean to move over or shift to a different place, usually to make room for someone else or something. It's often used in the context of adjusting one's position of how you're sitting in a crowded or small place. The term implies a gentle or minor movement, often done to accommodate others or to get into a more comfortable position. For example, you can say, hey, can you scooch over a bit so I can sit down? To say that there's a bench, like this picture here that you see on the PowerPoint. If a person were to walk over and they needed to sit down, they'd say, oh, excuse me, could you scooch over a bit? And then they would pick up the purse and move over a little bit. You can also say, oh, can you please move over, or can you please make some move or make some room for me? But scooch is kind of like a, please scooch over. It's like a little fun way to say it. The origin of the word scooch is unclear, but it is likely comes from the blend of scoot and hitch, both in which mean to move or shift slightly. The addition of the CH sound at the very end may be influenced by informal words like hitch. Overall, scooch is a playful and informal way to describe a small little movement. So could you scooch over for me? Very good. How about you try to use that when you need some room to sit down next time with your friends? Page 55. I didn't think you needed this, but I thought it would be a cute little slide to have. So let's go to page 55. And I'll go at the second indent, or the second indent. It says, I play violins as Hector careful. Mrs. Trimble looks around the music room. There are no violins in here, just an upright piano and a plastic box full of percussion instruments, tambourines, maracas, bells, and a triangle. Mrs. Trimble passes them around the room. This isn't really important, but I thought it would be nice for you to know the different names of the different percussion instruments that we have. So here, our first one is our tambourine. We shake it and hit it, and it makes the noise. The next one here we have maracas, what she's little holding. When you shake it, it makes noises. So pretend it's like, oh, maybe you can pretend that there's like rice in there, and you shake it and it makes a shaking noise. Bells, I'm sure you already know. And a triangle wasn't just a regular triangle shape, but I'm sure you already know what a triangle instrument looks like. You hold it at the top and you go ting, ting, ting. So these are different types of percussion instruments. But we also have string instruments, which are like violin, cello, etc. Let's move on to the next one. Page 60. One of the words in this sentence is already it's been explained in the other video, but I'll go over this sentence. Let's start with 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 indents down from the top on page 60. It says, am I a prodigy? I ask. Miss Person snorts. She pushes the cap back on her purple pen. You have some talent and you work hard. I'll take that over prodigy any day. But what does it mean when we say, I'll take that over blah blah any day? This is a different type of idiom that we have also in English. Here, I'll take that over something any day is an idiom to express a strong preference or liking of one thing to another. So in example, you can say, I'll take a quiet night in over a noisy party any day. So you'll take a quiet night in. I would rather stay at home by myself in my quiet house than be at a noisy party. This phrase is likely originated in a colloquial expression, which means we're just speaking it, emphasizing a strong preference for one choice over another. So the phrase is used to express a strong preference of one thing over another. It's typically used to emphasize how much more someone likes or prefers one thing over than the other. So you can use the blank for anything. You can say, I'll take taking a quiz than having a 5-hour test any day. So a quiz is like a short test, right? So you'll say, I'll take a quiz over a 5-hour test any day. So you'd rather take the small, short quiz than have a 5-hour test. Or you can say, I'll take having a vocabulary test over a TED Talks test any day. So this person is saying that they rather have a vocabulary test and they don't like TED Talks tests. Very good. So now let's go to page 65. This also is just a little saying. Okay, at the very top, it says, something is horribly wrong in the lunchroom. Fireside Scouts have taken over. 3 tables are covered with green cloths and pyramids of Fudgy Buddies and Minty Chips, which means there are 3 fewer tables for sitting at. Here, what are fireside scouts? I think they're just using another name for Boy Scouts. Scouts are people who learn, or children. They are grouped, and it's like an after-school program where they meet together. They learn about leadership. They learn about nature. They just learn about how to be a good community person. So here, also in our book, in our vocab video, we talked about the sash, right? This is the Scouts sash where they get different types of little badges for everything that they did. It could be like helping the elderly or being a leader. And here, Scouts usually sell cookies. That's why Fudge Buddies is the name of a cookie, and so is Minty Chips. Minty Chips is also the name of a cookie. So here we have that. I think there may be something similar in Korea, but I'm not quite sure. Page 67. Let's go here from the very top. If that's true about the food and everything, then you couldn't burp upside down either, says Wheeler. Guess not, I say. Bet I could, say Henry and Colton at the same time. Sally and Marvin bounces up at the table. Anybody want to buy some Minty Chips? Henry and Colton burp a no. Sally is disgusted, but she is in uniform and sticks it out for the Scouts. We'll be here all month. She eyeballs Wheeler Diggs' raggedy jeans, and we don't take credit. What does it mean to stick it out? Does she have a stick? Is she sticking something? That's not even that doesn't even make sense. What could it mean to stick it out? Stick it out is to mean to endure, to persevere through something difficult or something unpleasant that you don't like. For example, she was tired of her job, but she decided to stick it out until she found a new one. So maybe she didn't like her job, but then she was continuing to staying there until she could find a new one. This phrase likely comes from the idea of sticking with something until the end, even if it's uncomfortable or challenging. So sticking with something means to, what do we do when glue is sticky, right? It sticks to each other. You can't let go. It won't come off. So to stick it out also means to continually encourage perseverance or endurance of a difficult or unpleasant situation. It's saying that they're going to stay with it until the very end, even if they don't really like it. So here, Sally didn't like that they burped, and she could have said something mean, but she was sticking it out for the Scouts. So she was trying to be mean, or she wasn't trying to be mean, trying to be nice, and trying to keep it up for the Scouts. So here I have the pictures hanging in there, because you're sticking it out. So if I were to say, hey, don't give up, you gotta stick it out, you can do it, you can continue and do your best. Stick it out. It's a very good phrase to use to encourage someone. Page 74. Page 74. Okay, it's at the very top. Let me start from page 73 actually. And just like that, Wheeler Diggs is sitting at our kitchen table talking cookies with my dad. Dad is explaining the difference between baking soda and baking powder, and why you have to beat the eggs before you put them in a cookie dough, and just how important it is to preheat an oven. And Wheeler is eating it all up. The cookies and the cookie talk. So here, eat it all up had two different meanings. Literally, where he's actually eating the cookies, and figuratively, where he's eating the cookie talk. But can you eat cookie talk? I'm not quite sure what that means, so let me explain it to you. So, to eat it all up is an idiom, or is a phrase, means to believe or accept something completely or true. They're just not going to doubt it, and they're going to say, oh, that's 100% true. Yeah, I agree. Example, the children were eating up the magician's tricks. Were they eating the actual tricks that the magician was doing? No, not that. But they were all saying like, wow, it's so cool. They just believed it 100%. This phrase lightly comes from the idea of consuming or taking in something completely, similar to how someone would eat food, right? So we describe someone who believes and accepts everything without a question. So here, the metaphor of eating implies that the person is not just getting information, but they're accepting it also. This idiom is used to describe situations when someone is receptive or enthusiastic about something, often to a point where they're kind of being gullible. It can also imply that the person is easily swayed or influenced, and they are consuming whatever is presented without a question. So as the dad keeps talking about different types of cookies and baking and whatnot, Wheeler's just like, yeah, cool, wow. And he's just there, which is kind of weird because they weren't really close friends before. So it's also kind of weird that he's at home eating cookies. Eat it all up. Next one. Let's go to page 77. And I'll start at the last line of 76, actually. Forever in Blue Jeans by Neil Diamond, I say. That's the song that she's going to play. I like that name, Diamond. If I can't wear a diamond tiara at Carnegie Hall, I can at least play a diamond song at the Performorama. Fine, let's get cracking. Miss Person flips a rhythm switch. Ultimately, you'll be playing with this rock beat number 3, but for now, metronome. What does it mean? Let's get cracking. It means let's get started. So let's get cracking is an idiom that we use to just start doing something quickly and get to work immediately. So an example, we can say, we need to get cracking if we want to finish this project on time. Say that the project was due tomorrow and we didn't start any work. We're like, oh my gosh, let's get cracking. We gotta start right now. Let's go. Get cracking is used to urge someone to start something quickly or to get to work immediately. So the phrase here conveys a sense of urgency and the need of prompt action, meaning we gotta hurry up and do it. The term cracking in this context likely comes from the idea of cracking a whip, which produces a sharp sound and is often used to drive or motivate to move someone faster. So remember, if you're trying to get a horse to move faster, maybe they'll crack a whip, like, whoosh, whoosh, let's go, let's go. So that's kind of what they're using here. So let's get cracking just means let's hurry up and get started. That's why I have a picture here of this little rocket. Get started, get cracking. So say that it's time for our vocabulary test, but then we already wasted 5 minutes just talking. I said, okay, everybody, let's get cracking. We gotta work on our vocabulary test. So let's get started. Page 82. There's no picture. I'm sorry. Page 82, and this is our last one. It says, if you look at the indent, she keeps on talking about practicing and how there's a long way to go before I'm performance ready and that I haven't even added the real percussion yet. There's a long way to go. I'm pretty sure you can guess by the context of this, but it just means that there's still a lot to be done or a lot to be achieved before a goal is met. Example, we can say, there's a long way to go before we can consider this project finished, meaning we're not completely done at all. We just started with our ideas and we have so much more to do. The origin of this phrase is likely originated from the literal idea of a long distance remaining to be traveled before reaching a destination. So you can say, oh, there's a long way to go until I reach America on this plane. There's still 12 hours. That's the literal way. But here we say it in a figurative way. We say there's a long way to go before something to emphasize that there is still significant amount of work, time, or effort to do something. So here, when they're saying there's a long way to go, it means there's still lots of practicing need to be done before the Performorama. And that is it. So now it is time for you to review and self-study. So please review all the phrases again. Read out loud your book before class. Reread the novel where these phrases came from to fully understand, or you can just read the whole 40 pages again, right? It's not that long. And complete your novel homework. Okay? Thank you so much for joining me again this week. And I have an update. I will be giving out those dollars for those who have did the secret mission from before. And there is no secret mission for this week, but if you'd like to send me a note, there'll be a box at the front desk and you can write a little note there and I'll be happy to see it. Okay, until next time, see you at week 15.